Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Popco the Writers. It's been 2 weeks. We weren't here last week. It was Father's Day, and Jim had inventory he had to do or work late. So
I had to
we
work late. Yeah.
we took the night off,
Hmm.
and now we're back, and we're going to talk about the Acolyte and whatever else comes to mind. But let's start with, hey, Jim, how the hell are you?
I'm the hell fine, Mr. Wickline.
Glad to hear
You seem to be chipper, if I may use that word.
you. Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
It's been a weird couple of days, couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, you have a weird life, so
I do.
I mean, it's
I
it's
have a
par for
very
the
weird
course.
life.
Yeah. I don't know. Some days it's got to be better than having a mundane life.
No. When I
No.
was younger, I absolutely thought, yes, it completely is. But now that I've gotten older,
Uh-huh.
I am all for uh, mundane and, steady and
Okay.
yeah.
Give me the mundanity.
That
Yeah, I
steady,
have a
the
fairly
steady
mundane
regular
life.
paycheck, the
Uh-huh.
regular business hours. I left computer programming in 2006.
Hmm.
I haven't had a normal 9 to 5 job since, even when I worked for Bleeding Cool for 5 years. I worked 7 days a week, coming up with 10 articles a day. So there was no days off.
But you got to work from home though, right?
That's not as big of a selling point as people think it is. Because when you work from home, the
Uh-huh.
people that live with you don't think you have a job.
No. See, it would work for me. I wish I because I live alone, so it would
Fair
just
enough. Yeah.
it would just be me. So,
Yeah. But no, for me, it's, people walking in all the time, sitting down,
yeah,
having conversations while I'm
sure,
trying to concentrate. And,
sure,
you know,
sure, sure.
it happens this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sitting there writing articles because I do articles for the weekend on the weekend for the Dynamic Forces website.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother comes walking in. My door is closed. She knocks, comes in, sits down, hands me her phone. I can't get this damn thing to work. She got a new phone. And she used to have the iPhone with the big button,
Uh-huh.
and they don't have that button anymore. So
Hmm.
she's still getting used to it. And she's 81 years old. So even when you do explain something to her, it doesn't necessarily stick.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
bless her heart.
Oh,
Bless her
yes. Yeah.
heart.
No, absolutely. Love her to death. Happy, and all that. But
Did you get that damn thing to work for her?
I did. I did. Yeah, I did.
Uh,
And
you didn't scream at her, Mom, I'm working.
no, I'm kind of at a point now where I just kind of
Hmm.
just do it.
Yeah. How long until they replace you with AI?
Not soon enough.
You give all the opposite answers to what I would think that you would answer to every question.
You would think, but yeah, no. I just I would take a boring 9 to 5 job right now. Customer service, just sit at my desk here and help
Yeah.
people figure out their bank statements or whatever it is they needed me to do. There is that point where I want to be able to, at a certain time of day, just go, I'm done. But I do
Yeah.
stuff for Ethereal now, and they're back in the East Coast time. So at like 4 or 5 in the morning, I'm getting art sent to me to look over, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then I do stuff with Dynamite. So I get stuff from them at all hours of the night
Mm-hmm.
because a couple of them don't seem to know what sleep is. And yeah, and So I really have like 3 jobs I'm working right now. Plus, I want to try to do my own creative stuff.
Poor baby.
If you guys are wondering what the scroll at the bottom
I was going to
is,
say, hey, Dan, tell us about this Kickstarter.
this is the newest Kickstarter for Ethereal
Mm-hmm.
for a book I co-wrote.
Mm-hmm.
This is their new Red Label series. Red Label for them is their books are already meant to be mature. This one turns it up to about 11. So definitely nobody under 18. But this is basically a pirate story
Mm-hmm.
with the supernatural and female pirates, and yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. This was Dustin's original idea. I took it, kind of massaged it a bit, and then wrote the script. I'll be doing at least 3, maybe more of the scripts. The art is by a guy named Art Voyager, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The Kickstarter
Great name for an artist on a pirate book.
Yeah.
Voyager.
I think it may not be his real name, but I can't swear for sure, because a lot of the people over there a lot of the artists use pen names. Like there's somebody named Sour Acid who did this octopi cover that hentai people will love.
Oh, no. Sour Acid, that's a Czech name. Yeah, that's an old Czech name, sure. Mm-hmm. And Voyager is like a French name. It's derived from voyageur.
There you go. Yeah, totally believe it. Yeah, Arthur Voyager goes by Art. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, the Kickstarter that I'm involved in is like 1,400% funded or something like that.
Nice.
It's the Planet of the Apes one. It was actually funded within 15 minutes.
Very cool.
Yeah,
let's be honest though. It's kind of deceptive when people say, "Oh, it was funded in this amount of time," because I don't know about every company, but I know a handful of companies I have dealt with, and honestly, I don't know what Ethereal does because I haven't gotten into that. But I know some of them, they'll come out and they'll say, "Yes, we need $3,000 to fund this," and oh, look, we did it in 25 minutes.
Sure.
And then they're sitting back going, "We need 25,000 to fund this." But we want to be able to say it's funded.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't remember what the opening thing was. It was like 20 something thousand, and right now it's over 200,000.
Yeah.
I know the next stretch goal is at 250,000, and it's literally, I mean, I don't know if it's been running for about like a little over a week now or something like that. I can only imagine what's going to happen, with it. It's still got quite a ways to go.
Yeah, I've been seriously considering kickstarting my next novel.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So you get a digital version of it. You get it right away, or as soon as it's done. It won't be that expensive. I just need enough to cover my time that I would be taking away from my other jobs to write it.
Yeah.
So
I would like to do a Kickstarter for something, but it's like putting one together and running it would be beyond me. I need to have, somebody do that for me. Yeah. But it would be fun to, I don't know, something of mine.
Yeah. So our normal audience member, Ed, may not be with us tonight because I noticed that today is his birthday.
Ah, yeah. Why would he want to spend his birthday with us? I get it.
Right. I'm hoping he's having a lot more fun. And
right. Yeah.
So yeah, Ed, if you're watching this later, happy birthday, bud. And we look forward to you being back. So, but we hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones, and maybe sitting around crocheting with the wife. You seem to enjoy that. So,
any idea how old he is?
I don't.
Okay.
I could probably look it up, but that's Ed's to tell.
That's okay. I'm just curious.
So, Though speaking of crocheting, I did put this up on my page.
I saw that.
This is a new dice bag I just completed. I was actually, I have been working on a blanket for a long time now.
Yes, you have.
And I've done a bunch of other stuff in between. But this one green blanket I started on, I ordered the yarn. It came in from Turkey because I was having a hard time finding any really nice green yarn. And I found it on this one website and didn't realize the website was based in Turkey. And it came in and it was so much different than all the other yarn I've been using. Even though it's supposed to be the same weight, size, and everything else, it was much smaller, more brittle. The strands would start coming apart. And the amount that I ordered, which should have been able to make a good sized blanket, wasn't nearly big enough. So when I went back out to
that'll teach you.
When I went back out to that website, they were completely sold out and was discontinued. So I had to hunt it down on Amazon, not Amazon, eBay, and ended up buying like 9 more of these little cakes. I mean, they call them cakes, but they're just skeins of yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I ended up with 18 of them, and I just finished it yesterday. And I wanted to use a different color for the border. And I ordered it Friday with the idea that it would be delivered Saturday because Amazon's good about that. Not going through Turkey this time. And they never shipped it. They finally said it's coming today. So I'm sitting around and I'm like, I was kind of blocked out an evening to crochet. So I just grabbed some scraps that I had and thought these colors looked good together. And
they do. They really do. It's very,
it's
very frozen.
Yeah, I figured if you're playing like Icewind Dale or one of those games, the center, you can't really see it that well, but inside to make the dice pop a little more when you're looking in there, I've put a thing of this color in the base, even though it's because it's a 2-layer base, so it stands up better.
Yeah.
So, but I am going to sell this one. I've never tried to sell my crocheting yet, but I'm really happy with how this one came out and would be proud to sell it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking $20 from plus shipping. So if anybody's watching this and is curious, you can DM
just go to crochetdicebags.com.
Yeah, it is a dice bag, though it could be used to put other things in. It could be a cod piece if that's really what you want to use it for.
Family show.
Family show. Yes. But yeah, it's big can cozy.
Yeah.
40-ounce bottle cozy. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's got a lot of options. So if anybody's interested, you can message me through the various websites I'm on.
Will you sign it? You should have some kind of
label,
something that you could like crochet into it that would be like a signature mark. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I have to think about that, or maybe get a label printed, or like a tag in there or something.
Or like a little charm or something that hooks onto it and just kind of hangs off of it. That's a little something like that would have like DW on it or something.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this one sells before I start putting money into.
Yeah.
Because I could make more of these. Like if somebody got a hold of me and said, "Okay, I want a bag with these colors."
Yeah.
And if I got the colors, great. If not, then you throw in the price of the yarn. And
yeah. Suddenly, Pop Goes the Writer is now the home shopping network.
Yeah, I'm doing a Kickstarter.
I saw it coming. I knew we would hit this point.
And now what I'm going to do is I've got some comics I'm going to try to sell here. Let's see. We've got a book originally signed by Michael Golden. We got one here signed by Mark Wade. These are all certificate of authenticity. Pablo Rivera. Here's a original sketch artist cover by Jay Lee.
Wow.
One by Alex Ross.
Oh, wait. Also, the shadow. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and then yeah, that's what I get. So those,
Where did you get
character
that
power
Alex Ross one?
through Dynamite Entertainment. This is number 113 of 204
Mm-hmm.
from Shadow number 1. It's a
Mm-hmm.
blank authentic cover with Alex Ross drawing the
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
And then here's the Jay Lee one.
Uh-huh. I like
Both
the
have
Alex Ross
certificates of
one.
authenticity.
Yep. And what are you going to do with those?
I'm seriously going to try to sell them.
Okay. How much do you want for the Alex Ross one?
When I figure it out, you will be the first to know.
Okay, thank you. I always wanted to own an Alex Ross original. Weirdly enough, like his Facebook page recently has been like showing all different pieces of his that are for sale, and then given the name of like his agent or whatever.
Yeah.
There's this really nice Head and Shoulders, just this little nice, I don't know, watercolor or whatever it is of the Spectre. And it's just really gorgeous, and it's not that big. And I'm chicken though to ask how much it would be, but
Yeah.
and I love the shadow. So okay, yeah, you let me know.
Oh, yeah, I will. And of course, there'll be a friendly
The
discount
big
on it.
question is does it come with a dice bag?
It could.
Okay, you might want to consider that. I mean,
Yeah.
sweeten the pot there.
Yeah. If you want a dice bag, I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
I have sitting right over here. I have a mason jar with all of my original dice in it from back in the the 80s when I was gaming, and they're sitting in a this mason jar over here. They haven't been used in many years.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I know. I don't know anybody who games.
Yeah, I would love to get in a D&D game, even an online one, where I could play. I don't want to be the DM.
Yeah, Dan, that's what happened to me. Is that when I started playing D&D back in '81, it got to the point where I would. We had a rotating thing in my group where we each took turns being the DM, and everybody seemed to really like me being the DM and the things that I came up with. That they kept making me do it to the point where like I was always DMing, and it's like come on, I kind of got stuck in this and I'd really like to play again.
Yeah, it's like I haven't been just a player. Well, the game I was playing with Matt Hawkins, where I first learned, and then there was one other game I got invited to, played a couple times, and then we never heard another thing out of the group. And other than that, I've been the DM. So
Right. Didn't you just start up a game? I seem to remember a couple
Yep.
times ago.
Yeah, we're doing Candlekeep Mysteries.
That's it. Yeah. How's it going?
We did the first session. It was a lot of fun. Lisa's son, Braden, was in the group, and he's the youngest. I worried a little bit about him interacting. I mean, he's just 18.
Yeah.
But any worry I had went out the window. He walked in with a character in mind, got into character, and stayed the entire night in character.
Wow.
And what he was basically playing was this kind of foppish, lazy playboy who is constantly saying, "Well, do you know my father?" And he spoke like this the whole night. "Well, you know, my father's very big around here."
That's called method acting, I think.
Yeah, and he's playing a tiefling warlock, and I'm pretty sure that his father's going to end up being his patron, and it's going to be some kind of demon. But it's absolutely. I mean, he had the rest of us in hysterics, and then I try to come in with my characters, and I do different voices and stuff. And he is so at 11 that I'm having a hard time
Mm-hmm.
because it almost feels like I need to be up at 11 as well. So they no, because the rest of the tables, and Lisa plays a barbarian, and just is very good. I mean, she does the slower voice. It's almost like Lenny from A Mice and Men, or yeah, Mice and Men. But at the
Yeah.
same time, she plays it true to the character, and it's great. And then George, who's in the group, is playing a monk who is very focused and never make eye contact. So he's always looking off over here. And when he speaks, and people keep doing that, and because it's become a comical group, we're all like, is there something over there we should be looking at?
Right.
Yeah, it's a very interesting group, but
It sounds very fun.
yeah, but we're only one full session in so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, the
Are
next
you
one.
are you actually getting together like in the same room? It's not online or anything like that.
We're not only getting together, we are eating together. So we're taking turns on who's cooking the meal for all of us.
Oh, that's sounds wonderful. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, our original get together night, just to talk about if we were going to do it, was duck à l'orange with fondant potatoes and roasted asparagus.
La dee da.
Yeah, my niece came over that day, saw me cooking, went, "What are you trying to be, Gordon F. and Ramsay?" So I ordered a chef's coat. So the next time she comes over, I'm going to come out in it and just start cooking. And then our zero session, Lisa made green chili stew, which was delicious.
What's the name of the group? It has a real funny name. What is it?
The Dead Book Club.
The Dead Book Club. That's it. Yeah.
The Deadly Book Club. That's it.
Okay.
Because we're doing the Candlekeep Mysteries, and Candlekeep is the big library in what is that area called? What is the name of the D&D world?
There's a bunch of different ones. Is there a main D&D world?
Is it Forgotten Realms? But there's like a world they're on.
Greyhawk.
No, not Greyhawk.
See, back when they started to do that, they were each their own world. I never thought that there was one main one, but maybe they've done that since, there was Ravenloft and there was, Dragonlance, I think was one of them, and Forgotten Realms and Greyhawk, and I think they even tried out like, huh?
Is it Faerun?
Maybe that's after my time then. Do you remember that they tried to do an Asian flavored world and it never really stuck? Do you remember that?
Yeah. It's Faerun. It's the it's the fictional continent and primary setting of the Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
Faerun. And Castle Keep is the big library in Faerun. So everything takes place in there.
So you're running the adventure that you're running is out of a book or whatever, right? Okay. All right. So how do you know that your players haven't, read that book or looked through it or,
they could have.
Okay. That was always the danger with playing D&D, that if you used a module that some of the players may have, own that module and know what's behind that door and that sort of thing,
But I've only ever come across a player who tried to cheat a little once.
Okay.
And he did so badly at it that he embarrassed himself.
Yeah, that can happen too.
Yeah, there's in the first segment of Candlekeep Mysteries, this is the second time running it. The first group got through like 2 and then fell apart. But there's a magic word you need, and you get it as you explore this um, magical mansion that appears.
Mm-hmm.
You find these books and they have letters on them, and you have to get them all to figure out what the word is.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a handful of the letters, put them into a Scrabble word finder, and
Oh.
came up with a word that he was 100% certain was the right thing,
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't.
Well, good. He got what he deserved then.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay, we're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, because
Uh,
that makes me really miss D&D. So.
I did come across something interesting that might. There's a documentary series
Hmm.
on a documentary series, but it's called Icons Unearthed Marvel. Remember that big book we were reading, the 2-part big book of
Yeah,
behind the scenes of Marvel stuff?
yeah.
It's
It was
like
the
that.
history of Marvel Studios.
It's a half hour. It's a half-hour series with 8 episodes, all focused on the early days of Marvel Studios.
Where is this?
It's on Amazon Prime.
What? Why isn't it on Disney Plus? Because it's not official.
It's not official.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have Kevin Feige on it, but you do
Yeah.
have like Clark Gregg pops up. Some of
Okay.
the other people, the guy that played Doctor Doom in the Roger Corman movies on there,
Okay.
stuff like that. Joe Casey, J. Michael Straczynski, Jeff Loeb, they all pop
Hmm.
up in it.
Hmm.
But it's talking about some, and like each episode kind of focuses on the like one point in the story. But
Hmm.
it's like the very first one is all about the history of Marvel trying to get into movies, the
Mm-hmm.
animated stuff, all the way up to the start of the studio. And then the second one's all about, trying to make the Iron Man movie. And then the third one is rushing into Iron Man 2 or the Hulk movie is number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
Then it's Iron Man 2, then it's Thor, and there's one great thing where they're talking to the writers and they said Kenneth Branagh walked in. He says, and I'm never going to get used to saying that of a story that I was involved in that Kenneth Branagh walked in. But he said he came up and said, Mjolnir, it's an awful tough word to say. Do you think we could change it without a lot of fans coming after us with pitchforks and fire? And they went, no, we can't. That would be very bad. He goes, okay, Mjolnir it is. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, that's funny. That
Yeah.
even like, well, it's funny that he wanted to do that, but it's also funny that he had an inkling that it wouldn't go over well.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't so naive, that he didn't have an idea that could be a bad thing.
Well, he's done a lot of Shakespeare, and those Shakespeare fans can be horrible if you do too many changes.
I hear you. Yep, I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
The other interesting story is Clark Gregg, who says he talks about his time with Marvel, and it starts off about he gets this call from his agent and says, "Yeah, there's a small part in a Marvel movie if you want to be in it." He goes, "Well, yeah, I love Marvel. I grew up reading the comics." He goes, "I wouldn't get my hopes up too much. The guy's name is Agent. It's all we know about him. He's got maybe 3-4 lines." And he had already been in something else that his entire role got cut. And he's like, yeah, but it'd still be fun to be there. Iron Man's such a great character. So he goes down there, and then as they're working, he's getting such a good rapport with Robert Downey Jr., the back and forth, and with Gwyneth Paltrow, that John Favreau pulls him aside and says, there's some other little parts in here for different agents. would you be okay if I kind of sew them all together into your role? He goes,
Hmm.
or as Coulson, he goes, what's a Coulson? He goes, oh, we named your character. You're Agent Phil Coulson now. He goes, oh, okay. And then later on, they come along and go, oh, by the way, you need to learn this. And it's that security or the
Uh-huh.
Homeland,
Yeah, the
uh,
mouthful.
yeah, logistics division. He goes, that's SHIELD. When did I become part of SHIELD? And John's like, no, we're going to go with it. Kevin Feige wants to do this. He's like, okay.
Oh,
And
imagine this. Yeah, imagine being a Marvel fan and then you discover that your character is part of
right.
Shield.
But they never ever pulled him aside and said, hey, we'd
Mhm.
like to do this. It just kind of started happening.
Well, that
And then,
sounds like they were already filming and they
yeah.
decided all of this,
Oh, yeah. It's like when he was working on Iron Man 2, he suddenly gets the script changes to come in and put the fake Captain America shield in there when Tony's trying to make that new element. He goes, by
Mhm.
the way, say goodbye to Tony. You're going to New Mexico. He goes, why am I going to New Mexico? What's in New Mexico? He goes, Thor. They haven't talked to you? I'm like, no. He goes, you're going to be in Thor. He goes, oh,
No,
hi, Tony.
They should they should have said Mjolnir's in New Mexico,
Yeah.
but don't worry, we're going to change the name of it.
But the best one is he's talking about going to San Diego Con to promote Thor.
Hmm.
Thor hadn't come out. Captain America hadn't come out. They're backstage, and in walks Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, uh, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner. He's like, oh my God. And then Joss Whedon walks in. He's like, is this the Avenger? Is this the Avengers
Yeah.
crew? And they're like, yeah, we're going to introduce the Avengers movie. And he's just awestruck. And he's sitting there, and Joss Whedon comes over and goes, hey, Clark, good to meet you. He's like, oh, hi. Yeah. He's like, I don't even know why he knows who I am.
Yeah.
But he goes, we're going to introduce the Avengers. Will you come out with us?
Huh.
And he's like, why am I coming out? He says, oh, we made Coulson part of the Avengers.
Yeah, but we're going to kill him.
Yeah. Mind you, while this conversation's going on, Mark Ruffalo is over in the corner, literally signing his contract to be the
Hmm.
Hulk. He signed it backstage before coming out. So Clark said once his heart started again, he's like, "Yeah, I'll come out."
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
what a
it's a fun
wonderful
show to
story.
watch.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I wish it was on Disney Plus. Huh.
Yeah, I'm 6 episodes in. They're talking about Captain America and all the problems they had
Hmm.
making Skinny Steve.
Hmm.
Um,
How many parts is it?
I want to say 8.
Okay.
So I think there's 2 left, maybe 9.
I
But
need
it's
some Marvel stuff. It's too
I know.
long until Deadpool. It's like another freaking month or so.
Yep. And then we get Agatha.
I know. It's just now it really does seem like a long time,
Yeah.
you know.
Maybe fans won't be so bitchy when the stuff comes out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Because as Eddie Murphy used to say in his comedy routine, to a man who's hungry, a saltine tastes like a Ritz.
yep.
So, all right. Let's get on to our main topic. Now, I want our main topic to be the Acolyte,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a subtopic
Mm-hmm.
that Jim got a hold of me. You got a hold of me earlier in the week and said, we need to talk about this on the show. And I got to tell you, the number of things that Jim has actually told me we need to talk about on the show
Yeah.
would definitely fit in this bag.
I knew that bag would be good for something.
Yeah. So, what it is that a character appeared in the 4th episode of The Acolyte.
Hmm.
Is it Kiadi Amundi?
Kiadi Mundi, yep.
Mundi,
Mm-hmm.
who's a Syrian,
yep.
a Syrian Jedi,
yeah.
who we all remember from The Phantom Menace as the guy saying, "Impossible, the Sith have been extinct for a millennium."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he shows up in The Acolyte.
Yeah.
And this is a show that's supposed to be about the acolyte of a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it takes place about 30 some odd years prior to when Ki-Adi-Mundi is supposed to have been born, but it's supposed to have been born based on the legends.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what people seem to forget is that in 2014, when Disney bought Lucasfilm Studios,
yeah,
they announced that the novels, all the stuff outside of the movies,
mm-hmm.
are being moved into this category called legends.
Correct.
Which means that while the stories still are there, they are not necessarily canon, and that they would pick and choose from it what they want to make canon going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if a company comes out and says that, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
That's like if Marvel came out and said, we're rebooting our entire universe, everything starts from scratch, and Peter Parker is now Daredevil, and Matt Murdock is Iron Man.
That's a little extreme, but yeah.
Yeah. In which case, it's like, okay, that's how they're going to move forward. And we may not like it, but we make that decision based on whether we buy the new comics or not.
Yeah. When they did that, that was like the original I hate Disney thing. And it was because there were a few very fan favorite characters in all of that. Mara Jade being probably the prime example of that. And then Han and Leia's children were very popular characters, and now all of that went away. But it was only ever in the books anyways.
Right.
Supposedly George Lucas said that he thought it was stupid that Luke was married and had a kid, if I remember. I think he had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ben. I think they named him Ben.
Yeah, you've also got to keep in mind that the information on the birth of Ki-Adi-Mundi wasn't even in a book.
Right.
It was on a CD-ROM that was released in 1999 after Phantom Menace, to kind of a companion to Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And on a Topps trading card.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of stuff from that George Lucas himself contradicted, including changing the color of Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber when we saw him next in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, is he not in Attack of the Clones?
He might be, but I know in Revenge
of the Sith, if he is, it's real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably is, but
yeah.
My point is,
but I know he gets killed in Revenge of the Sith. Spoiler alert.
Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but some people are taking this way too seriously.
A little, yeah.
And when Wikipedia, the Star Wars Wikipedia, went out and edited that character's main thing, there's a Legends version and a main version. All the stuff that happens in Legends is still being kept track of.
Yeah.
But the main version adjusted his date. And people went nuts.
Yeah, they lost it. Yep.
Yeah, to the point that the editors over at Wikipedia were getting death threats, threats to their family.
Okay? And their pets. Okay,
first thing, you threaten a pet, I'm going to go John Wick on you.
I was going to say, yeah. The heck with your family. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hurt somebody's dog, look for me coming after you. And that may not seem scary, but it is. So now
Yeah.
there's been a movement for support of the editors there.
Hmm.
There's a hashtag,
Hmm.
we stand with Wikipedia editors.
I use that hashtag myself.
Yeah. It was shared by fans and even some of the top writers who have worked on these books and
Hmm.
stuff. So it's getting out there. But this is just, it's getting to a point, the toxicity of the fan base is so bad.
Hmm.
I saw a quote from the director working on the new Star Wars movie with that has Ray coming back,
Hmm.
and she said that how she's handling the negative toxicity is she's simply getting offline and
Yeah.
going to make her movie and ignoring everything.
Yeah. Boy, what a concept, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
yeah, and I truly believe that it's a twofold thing going on here. One of is that these guys are the people attacking are so narrow-minded that Star Wars has become so important to them in their lives that they almost try to take ownership of it,
Yeah.
and it's precious to them, and
Uh-huh.
it's not theirs. You know,
I I honestly think that it even goes beyond that, where they're so caught up in this world of negativity that it almost doesn't even matter what it's about anymore. They're just in this locked in path that I have to get up today and be negative in some way or another about these things that other people, care about.
yeah,
And that I don't understand. I'm negative about a lot of things. I try not to be online, but I said put this in the department of um I couldn't imagine things getting worse or people stooping any lower, and then they always, go a little bit lower.
well, I think that's because the negativity is getting them attention that
It
they're
is
not.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, that's a true psychological, issue there. The need for attention. There's more minor cases of it, of the guys that, and we've talked about them, who make the videos that have the negative titles or whatever, and they get all the hits and everything. But yeah, now there's just these fans, people online who will, they
Yeah.
probably love it when they get, thousands of, how dare you say this, and they're like, hey, the funny thing is that I'm wondering if the people who are wishing that people and their pets die, if they're getting death threats.
Well, I know that there
This
is
would be
one.
sad, but mm,
I'm not going to say the guy's name because it's the attention he wants, but I
yeah,
know there's one particular YouTuber who is the one that called out the change in the Wikipedia
yeah.
and even called for the editors to be attacked, basically. But
Oh,
I don't think he called for physical violence. I think he just called, you know,
what is your life when this is your life? Like, why aren't you doing anything else in your life?
yeah,
It boggles my mind that the time, and the energy, like, what else could you be doing instead of elevating pop culture things to a debate in the U.S. Senate or the British Parliament? I mean, that's like how serious they're taking these things. I
yeah,
tried to take this thing apart, and I said, okay, I think what it is this. I don't like the Acolyte. In fact, I hate the Acolyte. Therefore, anything or anybody who treats the Acolyte as good or official or canon or whatever else we must stop that or take that apart simply because we don't like the Acolyte. I mean, because
It's
that's the only thing I can figure out. It's Kiadimundi's age, like a minor character that they put in the Acolyte because they know everybody would enjoy. Is sort of a glorified Easter egg, in a way.
yeah,
When I first saw him, I wasn't sure that was Kiadimundi. I just assumed it was another one of his race.
right. Because
And
there's
I'm
another
like
guy,
looking at him, I'm like, no, I think they're telling us this is Kiadimundi.
right. There's another guy there who's the same race as Plo Koon, but it's not Plo Koon.
Oh, see, it's funny. I actually saw somebody say it was Plo Koon, but not an official person.
No,
Right.
but it's almost like they're treating this as apocryphal. That
Yeah.
there's almost a religious zeal
Mm-hmm.
to this group that
Yeah.
does this. And another example of it is over on The Boys. Season 4 of The Boys
Oh.
has the worst or critic review, not critic review, audience review ever for the series. It's bottomed out. Mind you, the critic score is good, and the viewing numbers are the highest it's ever been. It's basically getting review bombed.
Just because, or
Because they're a little more open about they've always kind of picked on the right wing in the
okay.
first 3
Well,
seasons, but now they're a little more open about it. And
hmm,
some people finally figured out what's going on and they're attacking it.
uh,
See, that's the thing is that it's everywhere in our nation right now that if you don't agree with me, then you must die.
mm-hmm,
I mean, that's kind of where we're getting to.
mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely ridiculous because it's a TV show about a 50-year-old, almost 50-year-old series that was created for basically children.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah,
I mean,
we've forgotten, that, which is a really good point. It's funny because I think George Lucas was always kind of worried or concerned about this. A long, long time ago, there was a movement in England to get Jedi as an official, recognized as an official religion.
yeah,
And I think that if I remember this correctly, they got it to go through. It needed like signatures or votes. I can't remember. Like they got convinced enough people to write it in on something. And I think George was, probably like aghast, that this thing that he created would go that far. I've always maintained that he created midi-chlorians because by that point, in his view, too many people were taking the Force too seriously, and that he tried to say, oh, it's not a mystical thing, it's a scientific thing, and it's these little particles. You know what I mean? He was trying to demystify it to try to take it back
yeah.
and
Well,
I maintain that that's really the reason why he created midi-chlorians.
well, that was kind of where it was in the beginning because he talked about the wills.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original thing, and that was kind of like the midichlorians.
Mm-hmm.
So there was already something behind the Force. It wasn't truly just mystical.
Yeah, but not a
But
lot of people knew that, and so it turned into whatever, and became very serious. But we've taken it to a whole lower level.
oh yeah, well, it really has come to the fact that people have people have found people have lost the ability to look for common ground. They have
Mm-hmm.
lost the ability for reasonable disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say this is one side or the other because I've seen it on both sides.
Yeah.
I see it with the people. I'm going to get a little political here, but I see it with the people who are upset with how Joe Biden is treating Israel right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're against him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're against all that. And it's like, okay, totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
People are being slaughtered, that innocent people, that needs to stop. There are things he's trying to do, but he's also, this is an ally nation, so it's limited. He's got Congress working against him. It's still limited what he can do. But the people who are like ready to vote against him, they forget the fact that if they vote against him, they're probably going to end up putting in Trump,
Yeah.
who's going to be
Yeah.
worse for
Yeah.
that area. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you gotta remember that I liken this country to, and a lot of things, to a ship rather than a race car. Everybody wants to do the race car thing where I need to go right. So you grab the wheel or left, you grab the wheel and you suddenly go left, or I need to go right and you turn it that way. And the nation is a ship. And when you turn a ship, it's a very slow, gradual turn. There's no
Yeah.
sharp 90-degree angles when you're moving a country.
Right. Yeah.
You have to slowly start guiding it one way or slowly start it to another or
Yeah.
keep it straight ahead. You
Yeah.
can't just suddenly jerk the wheel and it's going to respond.
That's my issue with some of the issues that we're faced with today in sociological issues, is that there are people supporting particular issues who do want that immediate change, that immediate turn. And it's like, no, like you don't know anything about human history or how a society works or civilization or political, a country or whatever. Yeah, don't expect that. It's like these changes are not going to happen, overnight. To get back to Star Wars in a way, I've said this to some people. I almost wish that they would just stop making all Star Wars, for like put it, a moratorium on it, and then see how happy everybody is. Then it's like, if I've said it before, if I could take Star Wars away from everybody at this point, I think I would.
Yeah.
Like, what would you like, the Star Wars that we have now, or no Star Wars whatsoever? You can't even have the old stuff anymore. It's like, I'm going to take it all away if you kids don't behave.
But the thing is that it's like they walk in and they go, okay, what can I hate about this?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Right. It's got nothing to do with the thing necessarily. It's, what can I hate about this? What can I get up today and hate on?
Yeah.
I just.
And I mean, there's a way you can talk about something you don't like. I watched Madam Web.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke about it on my show on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is not well written. It's written by the same guys that wrote Morbius and The Gods of Egypt and The Last Witch Hunter and a bunch of really bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they keep getting work. But
are these movies being made simply to hang on to the properties?
I think if they just did the animated movies, they could, or just having Venom. They were sold as a group. So as long as a Spider-Man movie comes out, so what Marvel is keeping it.
You don't think there's a stipulation that so many live action movie needs to come out?
There is, but every time Marvel puts out a Star Wars movie, a Spider-Man movie, it lengthens it.
Okay.
Because all it has to be is, because Sony is co-making that, it's in production, it continues it forward. I think
then I don't understand it. I mean, I don't understand it, other than we have this stuff, we might as well do something with it. Then it's literally just like a lackluster, like, yeah, it's not really going to make anything anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're hoping to accidentally fall on a hit. What I never said at any point during my rant about how bad the movie is and how Sony needs to either stop or to find somebody who actually loves comics to make them,
Mm-hmm.
is I never said we should hunt down those writers and kill them,
Yeah.
or
And
we
make
should go
sure that
after
their
their
pets die.
pets, or or that we should find the execs at Sony's and burn them, or none
Mm-hmm.
of that, because I'm not insane.
Well, that's debatable, but we won't press that point right now. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you
Well,
don't like a movie, don't watch it. Turn it
yeah.
off.
I mean, I think it's a case of when you say something like, I wish so and so and their dog would die, that you don't truly have, I don't know if you have any idea of what you're saying, you know?
Yeah.
It's just part of the thing that you do, or you feel the is the path that you should be on to, you should say things like that because you're impotent. You're on the internet. You have no other, you only have words,
Yeah.
and so I guess I'm just going to have to keep ratcheting up and get stronger and stronger words, stronger and stronger, ideas, because that's really all that I have. I can't stop them from making Star Wars shows.
I'm not going to lump or try to categorize these people that do this. I'm not going to say they lean this way or they lean that way. They
Mhm,
live in their mother's basement or any of the other stuff that
mhm.
usually gets loaded onto these guys. The
Yeah,
reason I'm not, because I don't know. I
yeah,
can't
right.
speak for that group any more than I could speak for any other group. But,
Well, you have to admit there's something
well,
wrong with
that's
them.
my point.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
I
if
mean,
you
they're
sit down,
sociopaths, I guess.
if you sit down and watch something
Uh-huh.
and decide that you need to threaten the people who made it,
Mm,
you are no different than the groups that come out and put a jihad on somebody for not wearing a burqa,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because I mean, we live in a country that has been by nature a live and let live country. You
Mhm,
know, you have
mhm.
the right to your own religion, but that doesn't mean you have the right to force yours onto somebody else. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Your beliefs on what somebody else's franchise should
Mhm.
be. If they do something you don't like, stop. Stop watching it.
Yeah.
All the legend books still exist. Just reread them.
Yeah.
Get the audio versions. If you do,
Yeah.
you know, you don't. I
There's a
mean,
really great Legends book called Darth Plagueis that is one of my most favorite Star Wars novels. I love that novel. It's basically the origins of Palpatine, in a way. But it's now Legends, but I don't worry about it or whatever. I still really enjoyed reading that novel. It's still one of my favorites.
people love the Heir to the Empire series by Timothy Zahn.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
you know what? And I never did. It's so funny. I was there when they were new and read them. And I think the first one I was kind of excited, but by the end of it, I was kind of bored by it. But I'm not going to like throw those people under the bus
Yeah.
either.
But so Thrawn was put into Legends
Hmm.
and then he was pulled back out.
Hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
reshaping his story. And they're
Yeah.
keeping a lot of it, but where they want to change it, they have the right to change it.
Yeah.
And this is like a new day. This is no different than when DC Comics did Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Right.
all of a sudden, Batmite wasn't canon anymore. Thank God.
And thanks for reminding me because that was a bad day in my life.
I mean, Batmite and Mister Mixelpidolix. I mean, that's a little ridiculous.
Are you enjoying Acolyte, by the way?
Yeah,
Or
we need to
not?
get to that. We're going to go a little long tonight, I think.
Okay, just a little bit long. I do have to go to bed, but I'm good. I'm good. I really want to hear this.
My thoughts on the Acolyte are this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's great.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
I think it's really going to depend on how they end it.
Mm-hmm.
If we get to the end and they sew a lot of inconsistencies together into one big tapestry, I'll be impressed. If we
Okay.
get to the end and it's like, huh, well, there's a lot of part there that you didn't need, then, you know, because
Yeah.
I mean, I sit there and I watch with Lisa and she's doing stuff like, really, you're doing the evil twin story, you know, or
Hmm.
really an immaculate conception, you
Hmm.
know, and these are all things that are part of legends, you know,
Hmm.
they're the Sith creating life inside of a
And
womb.
and part of Star Wars, yeah, right. And part of you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are all part of the Star Wars legend stuff.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of it is a little lackluster,
It's fair.
and it really needs to see how they stick the landing, if they stick the landing. You
I
know,
think I think episode 4, especially the end, was a nice like they turned the dial up, you know.
yeah,
I called the ending one of the best Star Wars cliffhangers of all, you know. I'm excited to see where that will go. My issue with it is I'm enjoying it for the most part, but I totally agree with you. It's not great. It's fun, you know.
yeah.
It's good. It has some interesting characters. It doesn't exactly have like consistent acting through the whole thing, but I don't really understand what it is yet. We've sort of been sold on the idea that it's like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It's kind of not, you know, we know who murdered, well, some of the people.
I think we're missing what the murder mystery is.
Maybe so. I admit I'm not terribly interested in whether uh Keimer is the Sith character, or you know, the dark.
Well, I think the main mystery is who killed the coven.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And
Okay.
if that is the story they're telling,
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I'm not sure what the scope is yet, and maybe that's, you know, we're halfway through, but it's like but is it like this sort of smaller murder mystery thing? And I agree with you on who, or is it a larger sort of takedown of the Jedi? You know, will this have bigger ramifications in the Jedi Order, or will it be a more of a smaller, contained story?
I
Do
think
you?
we're going to get a bit of the Raiders of the Lost Ark ending. I think
Mm,
the information that the Jedi Order has flaws and
hmm.
problems will be taken to the Green Lady, Venestra, I think it is.
Yeah, Vanessa. Yeah.
But I don't think she will go any higher with it.
Do you, so you don't believe we're going to see Yoda at all in this?
Probably not.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if we did, but I'm thinking no.
What about a just? I think it would be nice to just maybe drop his name. You know, I mean, he's around. You know, he's somewhere.
Yeah,
One assume he's on the council at this time. I mean,
yeah.
it's a drop in the bucket as far as how old he is. It's not that,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, long.
No, I think they can absolutely do it. But I think it really, I think if they have him there, then there's knowledge. I don't think he can know about this.
Yeah, yeah, they're dancing kind of around this whole thing. Well, you said it, the Kiadi you know, mention. They have to keep him out of it too, you
Well, they
know.
set that up already with Venestra saying she believed that a Jedi trained her.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that's where it's going to go is whatever this turns out to be, I don't think she's going to tell the truth.
yeah.
I
Well,
think she's going to,
then the story may turn out to also be the ending may be a conspiracy, a cover up,
yeah,
you know, and she's a likely candidate for that, you know, and that's why at the time of Phantom Menace, you know, the rest of them didn't know anything, you know,
exactly.
about that. If it's revealed that this guy is a, you know, a Sith, um,
I think we're going to see the early cracks in the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there. I mean, if you read some of the High Republic, I know you're reading the first High Republic book.
I'm about a third of the way into it right now.
Yeah, you start seeing the cracks. It's
Mm-hmm.
still a political empire,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what this does. Is it's going to show why the Jedi's were a lot more vulnerable going into Phantom Menace than they should have been.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, coming out of the High Republic era, they were at their zenith.
Yeah.
And now, so yeah, I think, but a lot of it's going to be kept from the council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that bugs me about the show, and I don't remember if I mentioned this to you or not. I think I did, but it's that Master Soul and the way he's being portrayed.
You did bring this up. Yeah.
Yeah. It still comes across like, the ancient Asian master. And
you know what? For the first time in episode 4, I said, wow, he kind of sounds like the Nemoidians from Phantom Menace, the way they talked.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, from very liberal George Lucas, he had them speaking very stereotypically, like, pidgin English, sort of, Japanese accents or whatever it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
but
and I realized the actor learned English to do this part.
Yeah, I still haven't hit where you're coming from on that. I still think it is very interesting that we're getting a character that is much closer to what George Lucas based the Jedi on, and that we're finally getting an Asian actor, in that role.
What part of space is the planet full of Asian sounding people? Just like what part of space are the people with the Boston accents?
Why does the Empire? Why do all the officers have a British accent? I don't know. It's called suspension of disbelief, Dan. It's just.
And normally I can do that, but even with Miggs Mayfield, I was able to do that, which is amazing.
Nyan Num speaks some actual Earth language. It's a kind of an obscure one, but it's actually, they didn't even make it up. It's literally, I once read the story about the guy who came up with that or whatever, and I think he recorded the voice or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Why are they all speaking English?
Why did we get a shirtless scene?
What?
In the third episode, we get a shirtless scene of York or whatever his name is.
Oh.
We don't get a lot of shirtless scenes in Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Well, I guess the precedent was set with Kylo Ren, and they just said it's been a little while since.
That was so horrible and out of place.
I know. Well, at least they addressed it. That's what was the funny thing when she says, "Will you please put something on?"
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess they know that there's a lot of female Star Wars fans, and here's a gift to you.
Are they going to put a salmon ladder on the spaceship now? How are we going to get the women to watch Arrow? Okay. I know. A salmon ladder. What?
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Well, I really want to see how this ends. I'm interested enough to watch the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. We should hope so. You're already halfway through it.
Yep. So I am looking forward to seeing how it wraps up. But, I did find something interesting today, speaking of Star Wars. I saw an interview on The Daily Show with Eben Moss Bacharach, the guy who's going to play Ben Grimm.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Who also played Microchip in the first season of The Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently on The Bear, which is a show I recently started watching and fell in love with. It's great. Third season's about to release. Totally in on that.
Hmm.
And you can watch it through Disney Plus, the Hulu part of it. So I do recommend it's a good show. But they asked him if he was going any training to learn how to be the Thing. He said, well, Ben Grimm is just encased in rocks and stuff. So I'm staring at a lot of rocks.
That's there. That's that method acting there.
Yeah, because he's going to be a CGI character.
Yeah, I am
But,
a rock.
yeah, but I was writing up an article about that, and I thought it was a pretty funny story. And I look, and I'm like, okay, he was in Punisher here and stuff. And as I'm looking through his IMDb, I come across he was in Andor.
Oh, where's he in Andor?
Okay, do you remember when he goes to the planet and they do that break-in, and he's working with a handful of rebels?
Yeah.
And one guy has a manifesto, and another guy tries to kill him at one point to prove that he's good.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, only him and two other people get away alive, and he
No.
ends up killing the other guy because he wants to just bail and take the money.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's him.
He's the guy that wants to bail and take the money.
Oh, boy. It must be too long since I watched The Punisher because I just so liked him in that. I just thought he and Bernthal were so great together. I guess that's what it is. It's just been way too long since I have, watched that. Oh, okay. Well, that's
Bernthal is also in The Bear.
is that right? Okay.
Yep. And they are best friends.
That's funny. That's very, very funny. I saw something about the guy playing Johnny Storm is working out, and I immediately said, "No, Johnny Storm should not be buff.
No.
I mean, he's not going to be, I mean, he's supposed to be a kid for one thing, but I didn't think that was necessary. Unless that guy was in really bad shape,
Well, when they asked the Johnny Storm guy what he was doing to prepare for the role, he said he was lighting himself on fire every day.
Oh, don't do that at home, kids. Don't try this at home. That old fear is back, Kids are going to set themselves on fire.
There is an interesting rumor that lately has been coming from the normal rumor sources that the Fantastic Four is going to feature a handful of different villains to show kind of the progression and history of the family before the main story. I'm like, I've been talking about that for weeks now.
Yeah.
John Malkovich is the puppet master.
I also saw that they said a good chunk of it takes place in space.
Yes. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening.
Yeah. When does it start filming?
Supposed to be by the end of July, beginning of August.
Okay. I say I just start filming the damn movie. That's just film.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out in July of next year.
Yeah. Well, they must have a speedy, shooting schedule, and then they start working on all of the
it's all practical effects.
Yeah.
They're just going to glue rocks to
okay
the guy, and they're going to set the other guy on fire. And
isn't that what they did with Chickless? He was in a suit. He wasn't CGI.
Well, they made the other Fantastic Four movie in 30 days? Roger Corman?
The other Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, the first one,
Yeah.
Watching that documentary thing, I forgot the Mark Salinger Captain America movie with Ronnie Cox, where
I have never seen that.
You should be able to find it pretty easily out there on YouTube or something.
I remember when the first photo came out of him in the outfit, and I remember how excited I was because I thought it looked really good, although he had these fake ears or something. But otherwise, I thought, oh, okay, they got the costume right, And then I remember just hearing more and more things that sounded really stupid about it, and I never ever did. I mean, I don't know if I've even seen a scene to it. Is it that bad?
It is definitely 90s movie.
Okay. Like
But
he's
they
not actually Captain America very much in it, right?
no, he is.
Oh. I thought it was just pretty much the beginning, and then later he's not. He's just Steve Rogers.
The real interesting part is Red Skull in it is Italian.
Is Italian, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, they were fascists too, so that's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Just, update the Wikipedia entry and we'll all be okay.
Yep. Hell, the first Red Skull technically was American.
You are right. You are right. That is right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Some guy actually got me to write a history of the Captain America. Can you believe that crap?
It's hard to believe, but I will take your word for it.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. I think it's time to do that.
I think so too. Remember, guys, a Kickstarter at the bottom of the screen. That's for my new book going right now. We just, while on the air, we passed the $7,000 mark. So it's going along pretty well. It only launched Friday night. So.
Wow. Okay. And check out the Planet of the Apes role-playing game Kickstarter too.
Exactly.
That's just going ape.
If I could have just shut off the show right then, I would have been.
I think you should have. That would have been the perfect place to end it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have fun. Be safe.